So I know how the title looks, and it's gonna sound a little unbelievable from a very stereotypical gamer type, alright? But hear me out. I don't actually want to be that negative. I think social media and gaming as a whole, especially in this current age where both are pretty much the same thing, have a ton of negativity going around, and the last thing I want to do is to foster that sort of emotion in myself and to foster that kind of community. Got it? Alright, cool. So a simple request. Instead of seeing my title as something inflammatory, I would like for it to be seen as more of a genuine question. Look, I'm someone who bought into this current generation of gaming, okay? I bought my PlayStation 5, according to my email here, on July 22nd, 2022. It is now, as of the time I'm recording this, March 2025. And in that time, I've played through quite a few games. And I can count the amount of next-generation games I've played on one hand. I'm talking about, like, next-gen exclusive games, okay? And I'm not trying to avoid them, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, gaming is dead, there's no good ideas anymore, everything is sequels upon sequels and whatever, but... Look, I'm very basic, okay? I play every single Call of Duty game as it comes out. I am part of the problem. I don't play sports games, though. So if anything, maybe I'm just like one level up from the problem. I only enable the companies I want to enable, not... Get that motherfucker, he's coping hard! Dude, I literally cannot make this up. I was looking at the list of PlayStation 5 only games just to list out what I've played. And when I did that, I saw a game that was called Dark Farts Bollywood Smell Edition. And that game is apparently actually listed on the PlayStation Store, so what's up with that? Dark farts aside, look at the list. I've only played about 3 games that were exclusive to the next generation console. None of them were the game that my console actually came with, by the way. So that game has just been sitting there in my virtual library collecting dust, or whatever virtual games collect. And all of those games are also coming to PC, so... Cool. Nice investment on a console, I know. As a matter of fact, I played through Elden Ring, which is one of this generation's most praised releases, on my PS4 in its entirety before I even got my PS5. To this day, I can play Fortnite with my friends on PS4, and I can play with them on my PC too. And the Switch, apparently according to some videos I've seen, can still run Fortnite, and that platform is considerably weaker than even the last generation console on just sheer power. And the difference is pretty much just load times. Now, I don't actually really mind the console upgrade because I always skip the middle, like, half-step upgrade, like the PS4 Pro. So I didn't get that, and I got my PS4 originally in 2015, and that was after I got really hyped from seeing people play Infamous Second Son and Arkham Knight. And I think it's normal to still get some next-generation games on the last-generation console. I mean, I remember when I was a child, I played a lot of Xbox 360 Destiny 1 before The Taken King came out. And I remember when Black Ops 3 came out, that the old generation also got it, and that was, like, very infamous for being a pile of shit. So, yeah. But also, whenever I see, like, those graphical comparisons between the PlayStation 4 and 5, like, even with those, like, ooh, look at how The Last of Us 2 looks versus The Last of Us Part 2, I only really see diminishing returns. The half-gen step-up is, like, always a little bit disappointing, at least to people like me. That's why I didn't mind the fact that I've been playing PS4 games on my PS5 for a while. But, like, what are games even gonna look like in the next generation? And, you know, we spent decades marketing just off graphics alone, and I feel like we're not really... I feel like the realism craze has died, right? So, like, how are they even gonna market that? We are a little bit over halfway into the current console generation, and the last generation consoles can still run Call of Duty perfectly fine, and that's usually, no matter how you feel about it, that's like one of the gaming console's like biggest killer apps. Now, I think at best, console just stays how it is and people just kind of accept it as like a cheaper alternative to PC, because I know a lot of PC gamers are like, oh, you know, it's like pretty much the exact same cost, but it's not really. And even when it is, that's like a really late generation thing. I remember the reason I got my PS5 in the first place was because that was in the middle of like the whole crypto coin rush, and during that time, a graphics card that is like on par with the PS5 was like something absurd, like $800. And at that point, I would have just rather gotten the console. The worst case is that they continue what they're doing, and that's just not going to market to anyone. It's going to look pathetic as hell, I know that for sure. So I guess my question is, what kind of games have you played this generation that are like really pushing the boundaries, that you're like, this has to be a next generation console, this is what this generation is about, this is how far technology has come? Because the only game I could think of is the game I'm probably going to put in the background of this video, which is Cyberpunk. A game which, might I remind you, also released for the last generation consoles. It really sucked on it, but it was still pushing the boundaries of it so hard that, I mean, it was a fucking mess on release. And the fact that I had to Google what games were exclusive to the next generation console that I own earlier in the video is not really a good sign for which direction the generation has gone. Games like Marvel Rivals are technically exclusive to the next generation platform, but it isn't really something that's graphically intensive or something I'd consider exactly a killer app that's really pushing things forward. If I may say something controversial, I really think that the game is pretty much just Overwatch 2 without having to deal with Overwatch 2, which is probably why it's popular. A lot of the characters in the game, they're similar to characters in Overwatch or Paladins, so I don't know, crucify me, I guess, for not liking the biggest game ever right now. I guess it's kind of pointless to say this after ranting all about graphics, because I don't really care about graphics, but it just feels weird to constantly upgrading your hardware if the games aren't going to upgrade with it, you know? If anything, I just want a game that's fun to play. Anyways, thanks for listening to me yap all this time. I took up way more time than I thought I could just ranting about this shit. I guess my rhythm is more like a once every 2 weeks. I do want to try getting one every week out, but I'm learning and video editing is a lot more effort than I thought it would be. But it's kind of fun. I like just listening to myself talk, I guess. Does that make me an asshole? Maybe it does. Anyways, I'll see y'all through. Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna keep that in. What I meant to say was, I guess I'll see you guys later at some point. Peace.